Hey guys, so we started our new unit on genetics, so I'm gonna quickly go over and explain the first set of terms that that some of us got to today. Tomorrow I'll make a video about the other set of terms that we're gonna go over tomorrow. Okay, so the first one we talked about in that little orange foldable we made today is the word genotype, and this is basically an organism's complete set of genes, and they code for the traits that we have. They're like a code that we can't really see, okay? So anytime you see these funky letters right here that we've been talking about, and I know we've seen some in the videos and the lessons, this is a genotype, okay? So your mom has a genotype for a trait, and your dad has a genotype for a trait that codes for something. So this might code for blonde hair, this might code for brown hair, okay? And then when they make you, their genotypes could form any of the following, okay? So no matter what, you're gonna have blonde hair because the dominant gene always overpowers this recessive gene right here. So your genotype could be big B or big B little b. Okay, so those are the possibilities that you would be for that genotype. Okay? All right. So the next word is phenotype, and this is different than genotype because these are the observable traits or physical characteristics that we can see. For example, Jeff has brown hair. Megan has green eyes. Megan has attached earlobes. That's all phenotypes. It's stuff that we can actually see with our eyes. So I always think of phenotype starts with a P, physical starts with a P. So that's how I remember that one. Okay, genotype we can't see. The genotype codes for a specific phenotype that's expressed. Okay? All right. All right, so the next term you need to know is DNA, and that stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. And all of us have this blueprint in the nucleus of our cells, and it's a molecule that contains structures an organism needs to live and reproduce. So this blueprint codes for what we're supposed to look like and the traits that we have, and that's all in our DNA, and it's found in the nucleus of our cell. All right? Okay. All right, this is a word that is commonly confused. It's called allele. And this is just different forms of a particular gene. So you might have a gene for hair color. This is our gene right here, the hair color gene. And there's different alleles that it could code for. For example, you could have blonde hair, you could have red hair, you could have brown hair, you could have dark black hair, or any of the shades of that. And that's what alleles are. And I think I gave an example today about pennies. So you have the penny gene, okay? But every penny might have a different date on it. All right, so these would be the different alleles for this penny gene right here, okay? The different dates would be the different kind of alleles, all right? So that's what an allele is. It's all the possibilities you can have or different forms of a particular gene, okay? All right, the next one is chromosomes. And this is packaged, organized structures containing DNA. So the DNA, those molecules are coiled really, really tight to form chromosomes. And those chromosomes are in our nucleus. So here's our cell. There's our nucleus. And there's all the chromosomes inside the nucleus. So the DNA has to be packed really tight in order to fit inside of our nucleus. So the DNA coils itself into these little X's or chromosomes. And on these chromosomes are going to be our alleles and our genes. Okay? All right. The next word is homozygous. So this is a genotype with identical alleles. For example, you can have homozygous dominant. We talked about dominant and recessive the other day. So homozygous, so homo means the same. Dominant means capital letters, so two uppercase B's. So homozygous dominant. You could also have homozygous recessive, so the same in lowercase letters. So this is homozygous recessive right here. All right? So that's identical alleles, 2 big B's, 2 little b's. The next word you need to know is heterozygous. Hetero means different. So this is one allele is dominant while the other allele is recessive. So one's going to be big B, little b, big P, little p, and so on. And this is the gene that's carried. Okay, the person doesn't express the recessive allele, they express the uppercase ones, but they could pass this on to their offspring based on who they mate with, all right? So that's heterozygous. Genetics, we talked about this. It's the study of heredity. And heredity, third period, I know I quizzed y'all on this today a little bit. Heredity is whenever traits are passed down through a family line for generation to generation, from parent to offspring. Like I was telling y'all, I have that goofy face I make whenever I'm trying to focus that my dad makes. That was passed down to me from generation to generation, and his dad made that same face. So that's heredity. So these are the first set of definitions that you need to know. And then tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit about Punnett squares, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about that. Punnett squares are a way we can predict heredity or predict traits that an organism's going to have based on what their parents' genotypes are. So we did one on the front page, all right? But here's a different one. So say you had these genotypes. I'm sorry, I meant to write A's. It's a little tiring, sorry. All right, you could have this, that's heterozygous. You could be heterozygous, or you can be, again, heterozygous. You could be homozygous recessive. And again, homozygous recessive. So there's a 1/2 chance that your genotype based on your parents is going to be big A, little a. And there's a 1/2 chance that you are going to be homozygous recessive, little a, little a. And we didn't establish what that phenotype means, but we'll talk about that a little more. So this is a Punnett square, and it's to predict the probability of what your genotype and phenotype is going to be based on what your parents are. All right? So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed.